Hey guys, this is Miss Martinez, and today we are going to look at earth layers. We've been looking at them for a few days now, but today we're going to look at two different models. We already did the Oreo model, so you should have that in your journal. So we're going to move on to the next model and discuss how those layers are compared to the real Earth's layers. So the next slide, here we go. Okay, here we have a model. Of course, you can tell it is a boiled egg. And you can also see that there are layers of an egg. So let's compare them to the Earth's layers. In the center, of course, we would have the core. Now the core has two layers. There's an inner core and an outer core. So if we would put a black dot in the center, that would represent the inner core. Okay, and then the yellow part could represent our outer core. So the white in the middle and this side of the egg would represent the mantle. Now we said that the mantle was the largest layer, but in the egg model, it's not that case. Okay, now, as you can tell, the egg has been broken apart right here, and you can see that we have something called the crust. And if you think about the Earth's crust and you think about the egg's crust, you can tell that it's pretty similar of how thin it actually is. So that's the model that we're going to look at to compare to the Earth's layers. Now let's move on to the next. And here you can see that we have an avocado. I like this model a little bit better than the egg. I don't know why, maybe because it tastes better. Anyway, okay, so let's start at the inside of the avocado. You have the seed. So the seed, of course, would represent the core. Okay, now, same with the egg. You can only see the core. If I could cut this apart and there's actually another part inside of the seed, but we're not going to do that. So, next part, we have the yummy light green area here. And that could represent the mantle. Now, unlike the egg, you can see a different color on the outside part of the green, the darker green. So the darker green could represent our lithosphere. And remember, the lithosphere is the part that can move. That's where our plates are, our tectonic plates. And also, if you wanted to add another layer in here underneath the lithosphere, that's part of the mantle, the upper part of the mantle, you could call that the asthenosphere. And the asthenosphere is not going to fit here, but that's okay. The asthenosphere is the part that the lithosphere floats on top of. The asthenosphere is not a solid and not a liquid, but a very, I guess we could call it a semi-solid. So this avocado has a few more layers than the egg that we could show you. And then of course you have the skin of the avocado that is as thin as the shell of the egg, and that could represent our crust. Okay, so now we have two more models to add to our journal, so we'll draw those in a few minutes and discuss them further with our groups. So let's go to our next topic, and let's talk about some limitations. Now remember, limitations of these models are going to be things that are going to limit us from learning the exact information that we need to. So I want you to talk to your table, talk to your partners, and I want you to come up with well, you're going to come up with two actually, because we're going to discuss one right now. So a limitation is something that limits you from learning the exact information about the exact object that you're looking at. And so, of course, we're using food, and the earth is not food. So, and as you could tell when we were labeling these objects, these models, that some of them had some layers and some did not. So I think maybe the first limitation could be not having all layers. Okay, so I want you to talk with your groups. I'll give you about 5 minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Come up with 2 more limitations, and we'll go around the room and discuss those. Before you begin your discussion, I want you to go ahead and take a look at this. This is another model. It is not food, of course. It is a picture on paper, and it shows you the inner core, the outer core. And I like this because on this side it shows you that this whole thing is the core. I like that part. And then it shows you it's broken down into 2 parts. Also over here with the mantle, okay, you have the mantle, but it also has the lithosphere, the asthenosphere, and the deep mantle. Also, the crust. The crust is at the very top, but it also contains a little bit of the lithosphere. So keep in mind this picture. And keep in mind the avocado and the egg and the Oreo that we did before. And come up with your limitations. Thank you.